Good morning. This is Timothy Zellmer with Live Free University and Hotel Central Boquete. We're here with a nice young man, Nick. I'm buddies with his grandma. What's her name?
Her name is Kay Patterson.
Kay Patterson is an incredible gal who also had relocated here to Boquete part-time. Now, Nicholas, tell us a little bit about your sport. I think this is pretty interesting.
Oh, climbing, man. So climbing is a great sport. It really gets everyone pretty close to nature.
He's a climber.
Outdoors.
He's a sports climber.
Oh, yeah. Sport climbing, you're going to need to get certain equipment that's going to help you out with it. You have these shoes right here. They have these certain type of rubber that's on the bottom. It's called Vibram rubber. It'll give you more grip when you're on the wall. You can climb up to, I think, 80 feet, and you bring a rope with you. You also have a harness, and with this harness you would attach yourself onto the wall with this thing called a sling here, and to rappel down you would...
What are those things you have clipped on there?
These are called carabiners. So you have your manual locking carabiner here with the ATC. This is mainly used for belaying and or rappelling.
What does ATC stand for?
Air traffic control. So yeah, just like the airplanes, right? The carabiner you would clip onto the ATC, which also has a rope going through it. When the climber goes up on the wall, this would be attached onto yourself. You would belay them, which is the term of pulling slack out of the rope.
Okay. So the rope goes through just this part or that part too?
It goes through both. You would push it through here, clip it through with the carabiner, and then lock it once it's attached onto you. When you pull the slack through, you know, the climber would be climbing up as high as they can, and if they happen to fall, you would catch them with this device.
Is this what you're using here? Excuse me?
Correct. This is what I'm using here.
Okay.
You can also use it for yourself if you do go up onto the wall and decide to come down, and if you don't have a belayer, you can rappel. So with this device as well.
Now, what does rappelling mean?
Rappelling would be the process of going down the wall by yourself by feeding the rope through, as I said before, that ATC device, and slowly lowering yourself with a safe, procedure.
I see.
Rather than just sliding down the wall as fast as you
Now,
can.
is that you doing it on your own or with that person? I always see him up here at the wall. You were at the wall, right?
Correct. I was at the wall.
And what do they call that when the guy is below holding the rope? Why is he doing that?
Belaying is taking the slack out. So the higher I climb on the wall, the more slack I'm going to get in that rope. If I happen to slip or fall, I will fall the distance of that slack. Whereas if the belayer, keeps the rope pretty tight on me, I will only fall a couple feet.
Okay, and you were telling me about the like barn door. What does that mean? And the other things that can happen on the face. What does that mean?
Oh yeah, when you're climbing on the wall, if you happen to slip on one foot, barn dooring would be if you are here, your right foot slips, and then you start to swing out. It gets you pretty uncomfortable and definitely throws off your balance. In order to fix that, you could flag, which is swinging your right foot behind your left, catching yourself. There's also flagging where you're making a move. You're on here. If I was to move my left hand, I'd swing out my right leg to make sure that my balance stays center.
I see. So it's just the technique to stay safe on the wall.
Correct. It gives you more balance and helps you stay more center on the wall.
I see. And what's backstepping? You were telling me. What did that mean?
Backstepping is taking your foot, placing it behind the other one, just similar to barn dooring, but this time you don't slip. It's going to be pretty intentional. It's primarily used whenever you're traversing, which is going left or right on the wall. You would go back behind your foot over and over again to make sure, once again, that you keep that balance and you do not fall or slip. It's a lot more, not safe, but a lot more effective than, just swinging out a left foot further than it's supposed to go.
Well, isn't that interesting? And you're doing this here in you're from Houston, but
I'm from Houston.
You started climbing there, but you've been climbing here in Boquete.
Correct.
Tell me about the location you've been going to here.
Correct.
We've got a lot of people that come here to Boquete all the time, stay in the hotel, they show up with all kinds of stuff like what Nick has got, and go to these different places. I know that they climb waterfalls. They have this mini canyon where it's got two faces next to the canyon.
Oh, yeah.
And they do that without the ropes and this stuff, so that if they fall down into the river itself.
Correct. That term would be called deep water soloing. So
Deep water. They even have a name for that.
correct. So
Deep water
soloing is when you
soloing.
go up onto a wall where you don't have any equipment besides just your shoes or a chalk bag or something like that. If you fall, you're going to fall a good distance. Nothing's going to catch you. But if you have a deep water solo, the water will catch you like that river just said.
Yeah, it's a swimming hole. It's a free place that, like my family and I go down there pretty often every month or two. It's a super fun place because you can walk on the side of it's these big flat rocks with this channel cut with these faces, and we walk to the top and then float down.
Man, I got to check that place out. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, we were there when there was a young couple, and they were incredible climbers. And I mean, she was very I mean, he was a big tough guy, kind of like a spider on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
But she was incredible, where they came up and over this lip where she's hanging and getting, like the most extreme, I guess they call that like
Overhang.
class 7 or something, where there's an overhang, and it was just incredible. So the other thing is there's a couple of climbing schools here, and the founder, he's a buddy of mine downtown, and he's developed many routes for guided climbs and all that, and kind of one-on-one, and that's part of your normal day. He's a professional climber, and you're a manager. I couldn't believe he started climbing in Houston. If you've ever been there, it's flatter than heck. But
Oh, yeah.
Tell me the story about where you're at and how you got going there, and how long.
I've been over at, it's called Texas Rock Gym out in Houston. It's an indoor climbing wall. It's one of the oldest ones there, about a little over 30 years.
Wow.
It has stayed there for as long as climbing has existed in Houston. And I got started, honestly, just as a kid climbing on little tiny walls and trees and stuff. I got interested in climbing there, and I realized that it was just down the street from where I was living, so I decided to get a job. Loved it, fell in love, and I've been climbing ever since.
I'll be darned. Mm-hmm. I'll be darned. So what's your daily routine? You said you're on this, what did you call the kind of thing that you're climbing? It's an indoor place?
Indoor rock wall, correct.
Indoor rock wall.
Yes.
And what do you actually have, stone? Is it made of stone?
It's made of concrete at TRG, and it...
what does TRG mean?
Texas Rock Gym.
Oh, that's the name of the place.
Correct.
Oh, I see. Okay. And you're the manager, actually, aren't you? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. I was a manager, and then I came out here to Boquete primarily to climb and learn Spanish and stuff like that. Whenever I go
cool.
back, we'll see how it all plays out.
I see. I see. And your daily activities, you're doing... You're calling it better beta? What does that mean?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different classes there at TRG. Better beta is one of the classes that we do teach. You go in, there's probably a class of 4 or 5 people. If you already know how to climb, this class would be great for you. It just gives you a little bit more technique and skill when it comes to climbing up an indoor wall. We primarily want to focus on teaching people, 1, how to climb indoors, and then 2, after they get that and have the technique and skill, we want to send them outdoors, because outdoor climbing is great climbing. It's all over the world. You don't have to worry about a gym. You can just walk up to a wall and say, hey, that looks climbable, right?
I'll be darned. And you were telling me about some little boy that had you so impressed. He's an 8-year-old, but he's been climbing since when did he start? How young was he?
Correct. He was about 5. He's only been climbing for about 3 years here. And he has me very impressed. He's all over at TRG pretty much every day. Climbing, we go off of the Yosemite scale there when it comes to how hard a route's going to be. So we go.
Now, what does that mean? Yosemite scale?
Correct. So the Yosemite
and this
scale,
is this little boy Jonathan doing this?
Yes.
Holy smoke.
The easiest
8 years old climbing.
Yeah, the easiest route we have would be a 5.5, and then the hardest route we have is a 5.12. So the higher the number after the decimal point, the harder the route.
I see.
This little boy Jonathan is probably on last time I saw him, he was on 5.11s. So that's just,
so he's really progressing.
That's just one away from the 5.12. So that was sort of blowing my mind.
Now we got a lot of parents out there in YouTube land. What do you think about this for children?
Oh, I would absolutely recommend it. Children have so much energy, if you could get them up onto a wall and have them find this passion for climbing, it would really, really help them out later on in the future, not only getting them to become more outdoorsy, but also getting that exercise and energy expended in the right ways.
I see. Is there anything else you'd like to let them know about climbing or here in Boquete, your time here? You said you're learning Spanish. How are you doing that? Many of the people that'll see this video don't speak Spanish, and how are you doing that?
Honestly, I'm doing it through immersion. I came down here and I'm living with a family out here in Boquete. They only speak Spanish, and it was rough for the first couple of days, but I'm starting to get the basic conversation down. Just throwing myself into it. I'm going to be out here for about another week, and then I'm going down to Colombia, and I will be hopefully being more immersed there.
I see. Now, are you in a school or online, or how are you learning?
I saved up some money from TRG, and I just came out here.
And what tools do you use to learn Spanish?
There's this app that is called Duolingo on my phone.
That's a good one. That's what I use too, and I recommend that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was talking about how if you spend over, I believe, 48 hours or something not too crazy, it's just the same as learning about half a semester in school, Spanish wise.
Well, good for you.
That was crazy, yeah.
Well, that's incredible. I'm so glad to have met you. I really love your grandma. She's such an amazing gal. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for watching us. This is Hotel Central Boquete and Live for University with Nick Patterson, incredible sports climber here in Boquete.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here.